Hello, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Welcome to Simple Stamping Saturday, and it's back. The usual, the original, 3 projects. Well, 1 project, 3 ways. Simple, stepped up, and then really stepped up. So let's flip the camera down and have a look at what we're going to be making. There we go. We are using the Playing in the Rain stamp set. I've had this for a while, keep thinking I really must play with it because it's really cute, and I haven't got round to it until today. So let me reveal the card that I've already made. So this is what I have already made. It's using that lovely rabbit and Rainy Days Are Better With You, and then because it's Simple Stamping Saturday, I've also stamped on the outside of the envelope. So let's get started. Now, what I would say is I'm using watercolour pencils with a blender pen. You can use Stays On, but because this is simple stamping, I think Stays On is a difficult cleanup. So I like to use Memento Tuxedo Black. What I would recommend if you are going to use Memento is that you give it a good half, 3/4 of an hour between stamping and using your blender pen. Otherwise you could end up with some smudging. Obviously I'm not going to make you wait for 3/4 of an hour, so I may well end up with some smudging. I'm just saying, totally honest here. Otherwise, as I say, you could use your Stays On if you're happy to do the cleanup for Stays On, which is a little involved. I mean, it's not difficult, it's just a bit involved. So there is our rabbit. I'll do the sentiment, and I may even manage to get it straight this time because it wasn't the first time I did it. Let's see. Now, if you want to, hey, it's straight. If you want to see how to mount stickers onto your clear mount stamps, I've done an Instagram reel, a shorts on YouTube, and an idea pin on Pinterest covering that. So do go and have a look at that, and do remember to follow me on all of those platforms. You can find the link to those if you go to the description bar below this video. Right at the bottom there's a link to my website, and then it's got /social. That's what you want to have a look at. All of the information is there. So I have to say I've used 2 sets of watercolour pencils. Apologies, but I needed it to get the colours that I wanted. So I've got Granny Apple Green, Flirty Flamingo, Balmy Blue, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight. I'm going to start with the envelope purely because I don't use the blender pen on this, so it will just give the main image time to set a little. So I'm just getting the Daffodil Delight and colouring these flowers. Obviously you can colour them whatever colour you like, but I am kind of following the idea from the paper, which, can I say, is just gorgeous. I will try and remember to show it to you before we finish. In fact, I'll colour these, then I'll show you the paper, then I'll finish this, and then I will show you the other 2 versions of the project. So literally just colouring these petals. If you want to get more pigment down, you need a sharp point. If you want to do a more blended effect, then you want a kind of flat area as opposed to a point. And I will show you that when we come to do the rabbit. So that's my Daffodil Delight done. I'll bring in the Granny Apple Green, which probably does need a sharpen anyway. But I love that this paper is so bright and just so fresh and positive and just, yeah. I mean, you could say that it's quite childlike, which it is, but why is that an issue? I mean, I'm not saying that you're saying it is, but you know. Right, let's have a look at the paper. So it's a specialty paper because it's got a finish on it. So let me, and a random bit of scrap paper. Okay, so let's get rid of the pieces because I know I've got all of the patterns. This has got a bit cut out, but so this is umbrellas. And can you see? Yes, you can. Nice glossy gloss. And then really bright flowers on the back. It's Mango Melody is the yellow. This is the image that I've cut out for one of the stepped up projects, but again we've got gloss on here, and then on the reverse we've got a lovely flirty flamingo, not quite straight stripe, which I love when they're not quite how they're, you know, they're not quite straight. Then this is raindrops, and again beautiful. This is quite heavy rain, just saying. And then on the reverse we've got this lovely watercolour. I'm not sure that the brightness of that watercolour is coming across, but anyway, it's bright. Then some more animals. Oh, and I should say that these are, you can die cut these images with the dies from the bundle. These ones you can't, but you can obviously fussy cut them. But again, we've got gloss and then coloured raindrops. So 2 sheets of that. Obviously there's 2 sheets of everything. It's just I've used some. So more raindrops. This is a more thundery rain, I think. Whereas the first one is a nice sort of summer rain. And then the reverse is this bright, again, flirty flamingo pattern. We've seen the umbrellas before with the Mango Melody on the back. And then there's this stunning scene. So you could do a framed item, a 12 by 12 framed item with the animals playing here. Be great fun. And then the reverse is a check. So those are the papers, and they are gorgeous. There's other things that are in the suite as well, and the suite is in the new mini catalogue. So the January to April mini catalogue. I say new, we've had it for 6 weeks now. So Flirty Flamingo, and I have changed the colours from the pattern paper just a little, because I like my bunnies to have pink on the insides of their ears as well, and that's not in the pattern paper, but it's my thing, so I'm doing it. Then some yellow, so Daffodil Delight, and I'm doing this as a fairly soft yellow, and I will be adding some shading to it. As I say, the yellow in the paper is Mango Melody. We don't have Mango Melody as a watercolour pencil, so I will be using some Pumpkin Pie to get that lovely not quite orange look. Now I want this area, in fact part of the area that I've already coloured, to be white, which does follow the pattern paper. So let's draw in a bit of a circle so that I can try to not do too much there. So as I say, just laying down some pigment, but not too much, just a bit. Then on his little paws, I nearly said hands, but he's a rabbit, he has paws, and on his hind legs. And then to get the shading, I've got the Pumpkin Pie, and I'm just going to go wherever there would be a bit of shading anyway, so where there's a shadow. So underneath his chin, where the collar is, probably around his snout, where the ears meet, his head, soles of his hind legs, and underneath his jacket. Right, Right, and then Balmy Blue. The Balmy Blue is actually quite a bit darker. The Balmy Blue watercolour pencil is quite a bit darker than Balmy Blue is as a colour. So you do want to be very light-handed with your shading. And then just layer up a bit more at the bottom of his coat. And when you see the piece that I've used, that I've taken this colourway from, you'll see that that's what they have done too. And again, we'll add a bit of intensity of the colour where there's likely to be some. And then of course the puddle will be wet. Right, so watercolour pen, no, not a watercolour pen, a blending brush. Dear Lord. So let's start with the Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to try to not touch the black ink too much because it is still going to be a little bit sensitive. And then I'll just clean off between colours and then come into the Pumpkin Pie and the Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm going to try to not go over the black too much. If you are concerned about it, as I say, just leave it a little before you colour, or use Stays On and just be prepared for the cleanup. It's not difficult, it is just a bit time consuming because you'll need Stays On cleaner and stuff. And his hands, paws even, and then his hind legs, and then just colour that off. Let's just blend around his white area a little, then colour that off, and we can do the blue, which, as I say, is a little darker and a little brighter than Balmy Blue ink, but it's fine. Get that lovely shading. Now, if you don't have a blender pen, you can actually use a colour lifter. I wouldn't if you're using a note card, because alcohol will go straight through to the other side and it may leave a residual on the wrong side of your card. But if you're doing this and then layering it onto a card front, I would certainly say you could use a colour lifter if you wished. And you do get a very, very soft blend with a colour lifter. So that is our simple card, just made with a note card and envelope in basic white. Burnish that. So that's the one I've just made. This is the one I made earlier. And if you look at the one I made earlier, I have actually smudged here with the ink. As I say, it's one of the things you just have to be aware of. Then my first stepped up card is this one. Let me just find my other one, which is buried. So this is the first stepped up card. So I've used the kind of grey raindrops, so the thundery weather. Fussy cut Rainy Days Are Better With You. Put lots of rhinestones around both of these. This is one of the umbrellas from one of the pattern papers, so I've just stuck that to his hand so he's dancing in the rain, and I fussy cut round the rabbit and the puddle, and you can probably see that there we are, there's gloss, and again I've got rhinestones down here. And then, courtesy of, or lifted from, Heidi Collins on Instagram, she's done a number of these cards where you have a kind of card within a card. So it's got a stepper bit at the front, then a small card on the inside, and this is using blends and just colouring with a bit of the colour lifter there. This is this bit of the stamped image that I've then used the die cut. There is a die cut for the puddle, and having coloured it, I've used some fine tip glue just to give it that nice gloss finish. Just remember, you have to leave it quite a long time. And then this is some of the variegated Balmy Blue ribbon. And then if we open up, there's a little card on the inside. This is the reverse of that grey. And you can post it just like that. But what you are then going to do when you receive this is this piece goes over there. You've got your basic card at the back here, and then your card looks like that from the front. And I fussy cut, again, the rainy days are better with you, with some more rhinestones. I keep forgetting that you do have to put the back piece down. So, a fun card. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Do go and look at Heidi Collins on Instagram. She's got some really great projects. So do go and have a look at those. There will be close-up photographs on my website, and the link to that is below in the description bar. I'm not doing the instructions for how to make this card because Heidi's got a tutorial for that. So if you go over to her Instagram or website, you'll be able to find that. But I will have close-up photos and all that good stuff. So let me flip the camera back up so I can say goodbye properly. So thank you very much indeed for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Do have a look at the Playing in the Rain and, what do we call the paper? Rain or Shine paper. Have a look at the whole suite. It's a really, really fun suite. So do go and have a look at that. If you need any Stampin' Up supplies, there's a link to my online store below in the description bar. So if you're in the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands or Belgium, you can shop with me. If you use the host code, which you'll find over on my website, you will also get some free product from me if you place a qualifying order, and all the details are on my website. If you use the host code, you will automatically get the thank you cards, that the kits that I send out, but you'll get a thank you pack from me whether you use the host code or not, whatever size order you place. One thank you pack per person per month. So remember that the celebration offers end on the 28th of February. Not long now, just saying. That join offer is jaw-droppingly amazing. Otherwise, shopping, £45, 60 euros, multiples thereof, you can get some free items. So what's not to love about that? Have a fantastic weekend. See you very soon. Bye for now.